Sportsic will be calling all of the action for you this afternoon as the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks play host to the Sharon Eagles. Sharon last year in the Hockomock League struggled. As a matter of fact, they had to forfeit a game before rebuilding their program in time for their annual Thanksgiving Day matchup against Oliver Ames. Sharon this year playing an independent schedule. They are no longer playing a Hockomock League schedule in football. They are playing an independent schedule, and so far it has been to their liking. They are 2-1 entering today's game.
An amazing 2-1. I mean, what a turnaround for a team that was completely decimated last year, and it looks like the program was all but finished, and then they come back, and a lot of it has to do with the kids' attitude, they said over there. A lot of them answered the call when they needed kids to come out so they couldn't forfeit. They came out last year, and this year they felt like it was more of a pleasure. Last year they felt it was a chore. This year it's a pleasure to come out and play, and that makes a difference. They go to an independent schedule. They're in a Hockomock League, which is one of the toughest leagues around. They get out of that league and go independent, and they're 2-1, which is really fantastic. For them to win 2 games the entire year is terrific. They're 2-0. The only team they've lost to is the Franklin Panthers, and incidentally, Franklin destroyed Foxborough last night, so really that loss doesn't mean that much because Franklin is a very tough team. So this Sharon Eagle team is for real as far as they're not going to win any championships or anything, but they are a very good team, and they are going to be competitive.
It's been an enjoyable season, as Art mentioned, thus far for the Sharon Eagles. It hasn't been that enjoyable for the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks. Under new head coach Matt Lanigan, the Shamrocks, Christopher, 0-3.
Well, they've played 3 very good football teams as well, Peter. North Attleboro, which is undefeated so far this season. Bishop Stang, which we saw last night, just decimate Attleboro in the second half. And last week they played a very good Attleboro team. This is a game in which Feehan should really be in. They've learned over the last 3 weeks how to run their offense and also how to play defense. This should be a very good game for them.
So, that's how they look. When we come back here on the Volterra, Goldberg, and Mangiarotti pregame show, we'll give you some of the X's and O's, what to expect here at Hayward Field. We'll be back with more after this. Pregame show, Peter Gay along with Art Chase and Chris Lyle. The Sharon Eagles entering today's game, as we mentioned, Art, at 2-1. They're very basic, and so far that has been successful.
And that's the terminology to use when you talk about particularly their offense. I mean, there's nothing fancy with these guys. You're going to see some dives up the middle. They'll sweep around the end, things like that. They're not a great passing team, although Mike Kinney, who is their quarterback and is a senior, he's one of the leaders. This is a team that last year, like we said, was almost completely abolished. The program was done. So they've got new kids out on the team, a lot of kids that never even played football before in their life. So they're playing a very basic football game, which is good because you got to play within yourselves, and that's what Bishop Feehan can really look for today. The one advantage that Feehan has over the Sharon team, and real deficit for Sharon, is they've got one of the smallest lines. When you talk about a small line, you're generally talking about Bishop Feehan. Bishop Feehan towers over these guys. So Sharon are very small. They're a quick team, but they're very small and they're very basic. So Feehan actually really has to kind of watch out for that because they're a fundamentally sound team.
As Art mentioned, Feehan with a new line this season. They are continually trying to improve, trying to mature, trying to gel. Last week, Feehan implemented really a new offense. They spread out their offense, trips on probably at least 50% of the offensive formations. That will help a young offensive line, and against a team like Sharon today, if Feehan runs that type of offense, they should dominate the offensive line.
Oh, you would really think so, especially with the athletes that they have. Waters, DeFisher, Sheridan, they can get even Tony Chang, put them on the outside, spread the defense out. You throw the ball, and that's going to loosen up the defense so you can start running the ball. Feehan does not have the biggest line. They are quick off the ball. If they can spread Sharon's defense over the field, Cody could have a field day. He had 200 yards last week against Attleboro.
1 point to remember, these two teams met in Sharon last year. Feehan came into the game a heavy favorite, and they needed to rally late to pull out a victory over the Eagles on the road in Sharon. Today, Matt Lanigan sees the Sharon Eagles for the first time on his home field of Hayward Field. Is this the day? Could this be the night that Matt Lanigan is celebrating his first head coaching victory? We'll find out. After this has been the Volterra, Goldberg, and Mangiarotti pregame show. We'll be back with the opening kickoff after this. Field in Attleboro, our second straight week here at the home site of the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks. Last week their opponent was Attleboro. This week their opponent, the Sharon Eagles. Feehan will be kicking off, going left to right here in the first quarter. Sharon, the receiving team, going right to left. Feehan, their home uniforms, gold pants and helmets, green shirts with white trim. Sharon, gold pants, maroon helmets, white shirts with maroon and gold trim. The opening kickoff by Feehan comes to the 3-yard line. It'll be taken there by number 85, Dave Greenfield, who will return the kickoff up to the 18-yard line, where he is driven out of bounds by a host of Shamrocks, leading the way, number 34, Noah Sheridan.
Well, one of the things for Bishop Feehan that's always been a strong point since last season is the kicking of Dana Feehan. That time you can see what happens when you've got a kicker that can kick that deep. Feehan kicks deep. The return is inside the 20-yard line, and it's very rare that you see a high school football team start their opening series inside their own 20-yard line.
Sharon, a very basic offense. They will go double tight ends from time to time. This time, though, they will come out pro right, split left, Greenfield split to the left. The flanker to the far side right is Mark Bernard. Two halfbacks split in the backfield. Handoff will come to the right halfback. The carry by number 7, Lee Mish, a 5'10", 175-pound junior. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it.
Tackled by number 50, Joe Sirodio. We're going to be calling Sirodio's number during the course of this ball game. He plays a defensive right guard. He's also a starting offensive player as well. He's been a mainstay so far for the Shamrocks.
Second down and 10 for the Sharon Eagles, who come out once again pro right, split left. Split to the left is Ed Belinke. Greenfield now the flanker to the right side. Mish split in the backfield along with number 28, long two. Will try to run off right tackle, and he will be brought down, a loss of a yard. Brett Poirier making the stop for the Shamrocks. So Sharon now in a 3rd down and 11 early.
Brett Poirier with a good read that time, coming up from his linebacking position. He saw the hole and saw which way the play was going. He filled that gap immediately and came up with a big stick. It's important if they can stop Sharon right now. That's going to give Bishop Feehan excellent field position to start their opening drive.
Sharon will come out with Mark Bernard as the flanker to the right side. Greenfield split to the left, split in the backfield. Mish and 2. The quarterback, number 23, Mike Kinney. Back to pass, 7-step drop, throws over the middle. The pass will be complete. It's to Lee Mish, who came out of the backfield from his halfback position. The question is, did he get the first down? It's very close.
Well, Chris Peluso was there for the Shamrocks, Peter. He was trying to stop Mish from getting to that first down. Bishop Feehan coming out in their 4-4 defense, 4 down linemen and 4 linebackers. That time opting to send the linebacker on that side as well, Noah Sheridan, to put some extra pressure on the quarterback, Kinney. Kinney, once he released it, did take a shot from Sheridan.
They will bring out the chains.
This is going to be close.
And the Sharon Eagles have the first down by about the nose of a football. So Sharon, on 3 downs, picks up 4 more. Nose of the football almost touching the 30-yard line. Not a very big crowd here this afternoon, I'll tell you. It is a gorgeous day for football. Actually, might even be too warm out on the field. Very warm in the sun. Sharon comes out, first down and 10 at their own 30-yard line. Ed Belinke split to the left side with Greenfield, the flanker, to the right. Mission 2 in the backfield. Option, Mike Kinney to the left side. Kinney will be stopped after a pickup of 1. That was a very tough yard. And to tell you the truth, I thought Mission 2 got away with a legal procedure in the backfield. They were both leaning forward at the snap.
Once again, a good read by Nate Massimino. And what he did that time is he saw that the play was coming that side, and he had to stay home. There was an option to the left. He stayed with the man. The pitch was never made, and he was able to make the hit.
They are saying that Kinney picked up 2 yards on the play. It'll be a 2nd down and 8. Pro left now. Split right with Greenfield split way to the right. Mission 2 split in the backfield. Handoff will come to 2. 2 trying to get around the right corner. Will not be able to. He will be stopped after a pickup of about a half yard.
And a nice defensive play by John Buckley, the cornerback on that side. The split end was trying to run Buckley downfield. Buckley saw that it was a run. He read his key. He came up. He forced the tackle, putting Sharon now into a big 3rd down situation.
So it'll be a 3rd down and make it 7. They will credit 2 with a pickup of 1 on the play.
Score at halftime, Rutgers 14, Boston College 10.
Ed Belinkie split to the left side. The flanker to the far side right is Mark Bernard. And before we can get this play off, the Sharon Eagles want timeout. And it appears as though Mike Kinney saw something he did not like, and he will talk things over with head coach Phil Miller. Gentlemen, we talked about it earlier, a very basic offense for the Sharon Eagles.
And what they want to work on is execution of that offense. Most of the time in practice is spent on working on the same plays, knowing where to go. They are totally rebuilding the football program there. Miller has a lot of confidence in these young individuals because it's almost like a club football there. They really have to believe in what they're doing, and that's what's made Sharon successful so far this year.
Well, you also have to like the way they mix it up with the pass. They're a team that isn't afraid to throw the football. They're very basic patterns, and the running game, as we mentioned, is very basic, but they got the job done when they did pick up that first down. The receiver knew enough to get past the first down marker, even if it was by the nose of a football. That's all that counts, and that's really a big victory at the beginning of a game. For Sharon to even pick up a first down, you would have thought this year would have been a big thing, but they come against a good Bishop Feehan team and pick up that first down, and that's what it takes. It's 10 yards at a time until you put it in the end zone.
After the timeout, it'll be a 3rd down and 7 for Sharon. They are at their own 33-yard line, going right to left. Kinney calling the signals. Two and Mish split in the backfield. Throw right, split left. Kinney, 3-step drop, fires over the middle, complete to Justin Kaufman, the big tight end. It will be enough for a first down, and I'll tell you, Kinney delivered a bullet, and Kaufman held on.
He certainly did, and John Buckley was there making the tackle. Sharon, with 2 big 3rd down plays here, Matt Lanigan has to be happy with his defense, believe it or not, so far, because with the exception of those 2 big 3rd down plays, they've really held Sharon at the line of scrimmage and held them in check, but Sharon's come up with 2 very big plays.
1st down and 10, Eagles still in their own territory. They are at the 44-yard line. Greenfield split to the right. The flanker to the near side left is Mark Bernard. We have a penalty marker down, and it appears as though one of the interior linemen moved. Number 34 for the Shamrocks, Noah Sheridan, was coming up showing possible blitz, and that was enough to distract one of the Eagles.
Going back to that passing play, the play before, it's also important to note when Sharon goes to get the first down, they're not going for the home run. They're not throwing for, if we're going to pass, let's go for the touchdown and get it all back. They're going 10 yards at a time. The pass that was right on the money, you got to give Kinney a lot of credit. He stood in there in the pocket and delivered a strike, but he didn't go for the long bomb, just go for the 10 yards.
1st down and 15 now, Sharon from their own 39-yard line. Shamrocks show blitz, they do not. Kinney back to pass, has some time, throws it over to the right side, and almost intercepted by number 3 for the Shamrocks, Chris Peluso. The pass was intended to number 7, Lee Mish, who snuck out of the backfield. The pass by Kinney off the mark. Sharon dodges a bullet.
Well, with Bishop Feehan's 4-4 defense, 4 down linemen and 4 linebackers, they are dropping all 4 linebackers back into pass coverage. So when Sharon is in their pass formations and go out to execute the pass, Bishop Feehan has 7 people back there. They're not putting a very big rush on the quarterback, Kinney. They want him to throw the ball, hopefully Feehan with a big turnover.
2nd down and 15 now for the Eagles at their own 39-yard line. Pro left, split right. Kinney back to pass, throwing long, has a man there. It is caught. A great catch by Mark Bernard all the way down to the 19-yard line. Kinney led Bernard perfectly, and Bernard, never missing stride, made a fingertip catch.
Boy, that's one of those situations where we're talking about how they were going for 10 yards at a time. When you go for 10 yards at a time, that opens up something down the field. That time it was just a little hitch play. He stopped about 10 yards out, looked like he was going to get the ball, and then he just continued on flying down the sideline in a perfect throw. As you mentioned, none of that comes about unless you have an experienced quarterback, and that's what Sharon has.
Greenfield split to the right for the Eagles. Bernard, after that nice catch, the flanker to the left. Mission 2 split in the backfield. Kinney calling the signals. He'll run an option and hand off to Mish up the middle off right tackle. It'll be a pickup of, looks to be about 4 yards. That will leave Sharon with a 2nd and 6. 5 minutes left here in the first quarter.
Well, very quietly here, Sharon is establishing themselves as being able to move the ball downfield against a very Bishop Feehan stingy defense. Let's see if the defense can stop him here in the red zone.
Bernard, the flanker once again to the left. Ed Belinkie now the split to the right. Split backfield. Kinney will be stopped in the backfield. Was running the triple option out to the right side, and the Shamrocks denied each and every one of the options. It'll be a loss of 5 on the play, 3rd down and 11.
Give credit to Brett Poirier coming in from his linebacking position. He made the initial hit. As he broke through the line of scrimmage, he just grabbed Kinney around the legs, and that made him stumble. That was enough for the tackle to be made after that, but it was really Poirier and the pressure that he put on that broke up that play.
So it'll be 3rd down once again. Sharon perfect on 3rd down conversions thus far. They are 2 for 2. Ball at the 31. Kinney, 6-step drop, throws over the middle, complete to Lee Mish. Mish will be brought down at the 11-yard line. It'll be a pickup of, make it 9 on the play. Unfortunately, Sharon needed a long 10.
Well, that time, Bishop Feehan saw that with Sharon in their passing mode, they decided to come with 2 linebackers at the same time. On the right side was Nate Nascimino coming in, and on the left side was number 3, Chris Peluso, was coming in to put more pressure on to Kinney. Big 4th down play here for the Eagles.
4th down and about 1.5 yards. Mission 2, split in the backfield. The flanker, split to the left is Ed Belinkie. Quarterback sneak, and Sharon will get more than enough for the 1st down. Mike Kinney getting all the way down to the Bishop Feehan 6-yard line, a pickup of 5.
Boy, this is a tough kid, Kinney, and as Kinney goes, so do the Sharon Eagles. The play before that, he stayed in the pocket just long enough. Chris talked about the fact that they were bearing down pressure. Just as he released the football, Nascimino came in and buried his shoulder pads right into Kinney's back, knocked him down. Kinney jumps right back up, not afraid for to take the quarterback sneak, picks up the 1st down.
Mark Bernard, the flanker to the left side, split to the right is Greenfield. Mission 2, split in the backfield, Kinney calling the signals. And we have a penalty marker down. It will be delay of game against Sharon. And those are the type of penalties that will come back to haunt a team if they don't put points on the board here.
If they go into a passing mode right here, Peter, their patterns have been about 10 yards. And right now with the ball touching at the 10 yards, at the 10-yard line, that's going to give them a lot of room to roam in that end zone. And with the cornerback covering the wide out, he's got a little bit of room to cut to the outside of the end zone and have some freedom.
Greenfield now split to the left. The flanker to the far side right is Bernard. Triple option. Kinney will keep it himself, and he will be tripped up. No gain on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and goal from the 10.
Well, big play at the defensive end there by 34, Noah Sheridan, the 5'9", 160-pound sophomore defensive end. His read on the option is the quarterback. He certainly came down and made Mr. Kinney wish that he had optioned the ball also. Chris Peluso in from the outside linebacker position. His responsibility was pitch man.
So it'll be 2nd down and goal. Belinkie split to the left. The flanker to the far side right is Bernard. Kinney back to pass. Will break a tackle. Will keep it himself. Will run it off the left side inside the 5-yard line down to a 4. So it'll be a 3rd down and goal now from 4 yards out. And Sharon will take timeout. We'll take timeout as well. 1:27 left here in the 1st quarter. Believe it or not, Feehan hasn't had the football yet. We'll be back after this. In the 1st quarter, Peter Gay, Art Chase, Dave Quizzoli, and Peter Cohen from Hayward Field in Attleboro.
I'm here too.
And Christopher Lyle as well.
John Buckley, the leading tackler for Feehan. That's not a good sign with the defensive halfback.
Sharon will come out now. 3rd down and goal from the 4. Greenfield split to the left. Bernard, the flanker, to the right. 2 and Mish split in the backfield. Kinney calling the signals. Handoff will come to 2. He will be buried in the backfield. Big play by Noah Sheridan. And also Brett Poirier for the Shamrocks.
Well, I'll tell you, Noah Sheridan that time with an excellent read. You could see that play, as soon as the ball was handed off, Noah Sheridan saw that the play was going right. The running back got it in the backfield. Noah Sheridan was back there to greet him. And this would be huge for Bishop Feehan if they can stop Sharon right now after marching this far and get the ball back.
The 4th tackle already for Sheridan. 4th down, passing down, and Sharon, before they go into the down, will take a timeout with 49 seconds remaining. They have already used 3 timeouts on this drive. And gentlemen, I can't believe the fact that we have played 9 minutes and 11 seconds, and Bishop Feehan hasn't touched the football yet.
That's amazing that you could see one team just dominate the clock so much during the quarter. That's one way to keep Feehan off of the scoreboard, is to keep Cody off. One of the changes in the Feehan defense on this last series of downs has been their defensive line. They've really played much stronger on this last series, and that's what's really stopped the Sharon Eagles. It's been the play of number 55, Russ Babbitt, also Joe Serodio, Nate Massimino out there as well, Chris Peluso, and Noah Sheridan doing the job inside for the Shamrocks.
So Sharon will have a 4th down and goal now from their own 9-yard line. And let's not forget, this drive started back at their own 18. 4th down for the Eagles, who will line up with Bernard split to the left. Belenke, the flanker, to the right side. Excuse me, it's the opposite. Bernard, the flanker, to the left. Belenke, split to the right. Pass over the middle, incomplete. And Kinney was under pressure. Had to get rid of that one early. The Feehan defense did what Attleboro did on this field last week. Bend, but not break.
Huge victory for the defense and all of Bishop Feehan. Last week we saw against Attleboro, they did not get down the entire game. They were able to move the ball very effectively throughout the game. They just couldn't put it in the end zone. And one of the things that Matt Lanigan had his team doing is up and yelling and screaming no matter what the score was, to make sure that their heads were still in the game and never to give up. And now with that bend but not break defense out there, Bishop Feehan gets a chance to move the football, and that's just a positive for them to build on and go from here.
So Feehan will get the football, believe it or not, for the first time. Only 44 seconds left here in the first quarter. And the officials have stopped play momentarily. The Shamrocks will line up with Tommy Morin split to the left side. That's the far side left. Mike Yoroff split to the near side right. They have gone back to the huddle unless they change their formation. Yoroff will be the split to the right side. Morin lines up as the flanker to the left, out of the eye, with Tony Chang as the tailback. Cody will try to keep it himself on the quarterback sneak. Will pick up about a yard on forward progress, and that's it.
Well, that was actually a good play and a good call by Bishop Feehan. Sharon was spread out at the line of scrimmage, and all he was doing was not necessarily looking for a block, but the linebackers weren't even playing up, and he was just looking for that little seam, hoping to break free for about 10, 15 yards, and with his running in the open field, it could be even more.
Shamrocks come out, same formation. Handoff will come to Tony Chang. Chang off left tackle will be ridden down at the 13-yard line. It will be a pickup of 3 on the play, and Feehan will have a 3rd down and 6. When we return, that's the end of the first quarter. We'll be back with second quarter action after this. Feehan nothing, Sharon nothing. We'll be back with second quarter action next. Play, no score from Hayward Field. Peter Gay along with Art Chase and Chris Lyle. The Shamrocks are running only their 3rd offensive play here. Shamrocks for the first time will send trips out to the right side. Yoroff is the far man right. Tom Morin next to him. Nate Cody will keep it himself and pick up the first down. I was about to say Tony Chang next to Morin, but Cody taking the snap, rolling around the right side, picks up the first down. As a matter of fact, it's all the way up to the 26-yard line.
And that was determined prior to the play being executed that Cody was going to run. That was more of a run than it was actually a pass. They took the trips to run off the defenders on that side of the field. Cody saw a lot of room there. That's what we're going to have to see it today, is Cody's maneuverability.
Yoroff split to the left. The flanker to the far side right is Morin, penalty marker down. And one of the interior linemen moved for the Shamrocks, and judging by the way he's reaction, I would say it's number 75, Matt Ferry. It's always the kid who goes with his arms in the air. Me?
He just took a breath. You can't call that his movement. But Nate Cody on that play before, good judgment on his part. He doesn't just run to the outside like a lot of people would do. He sees where the defender was coming up on him and immediately cut it back to the inside. That allowed him to pick up about an extra 3 yards and enough for the first down. He is so dangerous when he gets out in that open field, and it's going to make Uroff that much better of a runner when he does touch the football along with Tony Chang.
Shamrocks will send trips split to the right side, but before they get off the play, Nate Cody will take a timeout. 9:13 left here in the first half. Still no score.
It's interesting that the Sharon runs the same defense that Bishop Feehan runs, which is a 4-4 defense. When Feehan comes out in the trips, Sharon will react by taking 3 defenders and moving them over with the trips. The free safety moves over to the field. What's left on the weak side is one halfback, one defensive halfback, and the defensive end. Look for Bishop Feehan to come back to the weak side, away from the trips, either on a pass or some runs. I think that's where they're going to find some success today.
9 minutes, 13 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Another big weekend of football coming up. Friday night at Tozier Cassidy Field. Attleboro will entertain Mansfield. WARA will have that game live at 6:50. ICTVA television in Attleboro and Rehoboth, along with Cable 27 television, will show that game the following Tuesday night. Trips to the right for the Shamrocks. Cody will run an option to the left. Cody will get up across the 25-yard line. Up to the 28-yard line will actually be a pickup of 7 on the play after the 5-yard illegal procedure call.
That was actually a time where Cody could have taken it to the outside. He had Tony Chang as his lead blocker, and Chang was going out to hit the defensive end, and the defensive end was already picked up, so then he was getting the cornerback over on that side, and he had him picked up, but Cody cut to the inside of that block, and that's where all the Sharon Eagles were.
Uroff split to the left, Morin the flanker to the right side. Sean Waters and Tony Chang in the backfield. Handoff will come to Chang. Chang will break a tackle. Chang almost had his face ripped off. One of the Eagles had a hold of his face mask. No penalty marker called, though. Sharon gets away with one.
The Sharon defender on that play, Scott Bluestein, in on the tackle on Tony Chang. Big third down play here. The offensive line needs to give Chang's and Waters some running room. That's Joe Sorodio, Sean Ryan, Brian McLaughlin, Ryan Cherry, and Matt Ferry.
3rd down and 7 now for the Shamrocks at their own 28-yard line. Morin split to the left. Cody throws it up for Morin, and we will have pass interference, and no question about that on the Sharon Eagles. The pass was thrown up to Tom Morin. Cody was simply throwing high into a spot. Morin was trying to run his pattern, but the defender, Ed Belenke, had his back to the football, had no idea when it was coming down, tried to screen Morin, but in doing so ended up knocking him down.
Well, you have to remember that Tommy Morin is 6'4". He's a big kid, and that's a big target. But as high as that ball was thrown, Morin had his arms up. Just, you can tell when somebody's about to receive a pass. And he had his arms up for so long because that ball was so high that I'm sure that he came in there and felt that, oh, well, that ball's going to come any second. And he had no eyesight of the ball and just ran right over Morin. I'll tell you, Morin's only a junior at 6'4". Look for him to get involved in the offense a lot more this year, and next year coming back, when he'll be even a bigger kid, he's going to be a force here for the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks.
Morin will line up as the flanker to the left. Uroff split way to the far side right. Out of the eye, Waters, Sean Waters, the fullback. Tony Chang is the tail. Cody, back to pass, looking long, looking for Morin. This one will be caught. No, incomplete. It was almost caught by Morin. It wouldn't have made a difference, though, because Morin's feet were out of bounds. Both players were actually on the ground as that ball was bouncing around.
Bishop Feehan trying to take advantage of, as you were mentioning, Art, the height advantage that Morin has over the defenders. That time going against number 21, Matt Wall. He's listed at 5'9" in your program. Bishop Feehan looking for the big strike here. that the successful passing game is going to help Waters and Chang. It's interesting to see Waters in the backfield now. This is the first game we've seen that from Feehan.
Trips to the right, you're off Morin and Waters. Chang is the lone back. Under center is Cody. Cody will run an option left, picks up a nice block by Chang, will cut it upfield and get up very close to the 50-yard line. It looked as though Cody would pick up maybe a yard, but Chang ended up blocking 2 Sharon Eagles.
Well, Tony Chang's a tough kid, and he doesn't get a lot of opportunities to run the football as it looked like coming into this season. And one of the things that can happen as the game developed last week, and we saw that Cody was so effective as a runner, I think that they've tried to give him more opportunities to run the football, but that's going to make Chang that much more effective when he does get his opportunity.
3rd down and 3, Morin, the flanker to the left, you're off split way to the far side right. Chang, the tailback in the eye, takes the handoff in the backfield, will cut off left tackle, will get down to the 49-yard line of Sharon. And now the Shamrocks with a decision. They have a 4th down and a long one at the Sharon 49-yard line. And Feehan will punt it away. Somewhat surprising.
Interesting call here. They do not want to give Sharon some good field position. A lot of times in a very close game, as this will probably end up being, field position could be the big difference. If Matt Lanigan can pin the Eagles way back, it's an advantage for him.
The Shamrocks, having the type of problems they had last week against Attleboro, did not have enough men on the field. The snap will come to Dana Fiedarone, who will get away a punt that lands at the 31-yard line, takes a big Feehan bounce, will roll down inside the 15, down to the 11-yard line. We've seen Fiedarone kick a few times over the past 4 weeks. Unfortunately, it's always been in a punting situation.
Yeah, he really shines as a field goal kicker, and that's one of the opportunities we haven't seen. I was watching him before the game, Peter, kick, and what's so impressive is, yeah, he does have a lot of distance, but his height is unbelievable. When he kicks that ball, it gets past the line of scrimmage so quickly and so high that it's very tough for any team to come in and block, and that alone, somebody can kick a ball long but have it be flat. He gets a lot of height on it.
The Eagles come out now with Greenfield split to the left. Bernard is the flanker to the right. Mission 2 split in the backfield. Sharon running the triple option to the left side. Kinney will keep it himself. Try to go off left tackle, but Sean Caponegro is there to snuff out that play.
And Caponegro was right there from the beginning. He was determined not to let the Sharon Eagle get out of his grasp. Caponegro has played a very sound game so far today at defensive end. He also played last week very well against the Blue Bombardiers. When Kenny comes out on the option, it's going to be Caponegro's job to keep him inside.
Balinky back into the game. He will line up split to the left side. Bernard now the flanker to the near side right. Mishan 2 a wide split in the backfield. Kinney calling the signals. Kinney came back early. He's allowed to do that, though. It won't matter because Noah Sheridan will bring down a long two in the backfield.
And Noah Sheridan's allowed to do that as well, too. He just came busting through the gap there and took long 2 back, at least a long 2 yards.
Please say something, Arthur.
I don't know what you can say about that. Wow, somebody hit him. Somebody have a program that can hit Chris with?
7 years has been way too long to work with Chris Lyle. 3rd down and 13 now for the Sharon Eagles. Kinney calling the signals. Bernard split to the left. Greenfield, the flanker to the far side left. Kinney under some pressure will keep it himself and scramble up to the 11-yard line, well shy of the 1st down, and the Eagles will be forced to punt for the first time in this game. This game flying by. 4:20 left here in the first half. As I look at my watch, we have only played 32 minutes of actual time.
I'll tell you, Andy Sandville making a good tackle that time. He didn't try to hit his man high. He went right for the way he's taught to tackle, and that's go right around the hips, wrap up his legs.
Back to punt for the Sharon Eagles, number 78. That's Larry Labrador. Kick will be taken by Chang at his own 46. Chang kicks it upfield off the left side up to the 29-yard line of the Sharon Eagles. So Feehan's decision to punt pays off. There was a penalty marker down on the play. and they are debating whether or not Chang called fair catch.
No, it was Sean Waters that was calling the fair catch, and it was Chang that came up and made the catch.
Delay of game penalty against the Shamrocks.
Now what they will do is take the football at the point of where Waters was calling fair catch, and actually where the ball was caught, and they will mark off 5 yards delay of game penalty. Matt Lanigan discussing things with the official, shaking his head.
That's the correct call, though, even though Chang was
It's a very
not.
good call.
That's exactly right. I was wondering if they were going to be making that call, even though Chang was not the man to put his hand up in the air. Waters, by calling for the fair catch, was indicating to the Sharon Eagles, hey, slow down, you're not going to have to make a tackle on this play. Lo and behold, here comes Tony Chang. Never saw Waters with his arm up, went up the sidelines for another 20 yards.
So the penalty will go in the books as a 5-yard penalty. It'll actually cost the Shamrocks, though, about 20 yards. Feehan in their own territory at the 49. Pitch will come to the right halfback. That's Tony Chang trying to get around the right corner. He will into Sharon territory up to the 45-yard line. And that play looked as though it was going nowhere at first. The Feehan offensive line, the backs coming out, blocking, etc., turned it into a 6-yard gain.
I'll tell you, you're giving him a head of steam when you can pitch him the ball to the outside like that. He can break some tackles out there, and that's exactly what he did, as he picks up 6 yards on that play.
You're off, split to the right side with Morin in the far side slot. Pitch will come to number 22, Scott Schilling, who gets his first carry. And it won't be one to remember, that's for sure. A loss of 5 on the play. Feehan now back in the 3rd and 9.
And John Bluestein right in there for the Sharon Eagles. He had that play snuffed out. It's the same pitch that they ran to the last side. Matt Wall in there as well for Sharon Eagles. It's the same pitch that they ran to the other side. Not the same results, however.
So a 3rd down and 9 for the Shamrocks, who will send trips out to the right. You're off, Morin, and Waters. As you look inward, Cody rolling to his right, looking to pass. They set up a screen to Chang. And 2 things happened on that play. Number 74 for the Sharon Eagles, Eddie Sherlock, was right next to Tony Chang, did not know the ball was coming. If he catches the ball, he runs 50 yards uncontested for a touchdown. If Tony Chang catches the football, he has 3 green jerseys in front of him and 50 yards of open field. Pass falls incomplete. Dana Fiedarone back to punt. Dave Greenfield back at his own 15-yard line. Kick will land at the 34. Will roll down inside the 25 to a stop at the 20-yard line. So Dana Fiedarone not getting a good leg on either of his 2 punts. Both times, though, he was able to pick up big rolls.
Well, that time, in fact, even in the Attleboro game, you mentioned the punting of Fiedarone. Fiedarone has a higher average for his punt because for some reason, even in that Attleboro game, a lot of his punts have good rolls and keep the ball moving. That time it didn't roll as much as it did the first time, but he's given them good position with the kicks and with the kickoff in particular, but Sharon was able to move on that first series.
Eagles will come out now with Lee Mish and James Slavitt split in the backfield. Handoff will come to Mish, follows a block of Slavitt, but will only pick up about a half yard, if that. Shamrock's doing a good job of stringing out the play.
Certainly, Sean Caponegro right there stringing that play out from his defensive end position. He strung that play out enough so number 45 could come up and help him out, Andy Sandville. Sandville playing one of the outside linebackers for this defense today.
2nd down and make it 9. They will give Mish a pickup of 1. Mish now split in the backfield once again with long 2. Bernard, the flanker, to the near side right. Belinky split to the far side left. Back to pass is Kinney, pass incomplete. Almost a nice one-handed grab by Lee Mish, who came from out of the backfield. 7 yards down and out. The pass just behind Mish, though.
The pass looked like it was going to go deep, the pattern, and I thought that they were going to bring the free safety and even a linebacker going to go deep with the deep man, but instead Poirier and Peluso knew their assignments, and both of them were right there to cover the pass.
So it'll be a third down, now and 9 for the Sharon Eagles with 1:34 left here in the first half. It is flying by. This game may end in an hour and a half. And Sharon will take a timeout. Not if that happens. We'll take a timeout as well. 1:34 left here in the second quarter. It's Bishop Feehan nothing, Sharon nothing. We'll be back after this. Back to pass is Kinney. His pass was intended for the big tight end, Justin Kaufman. Kaufman is only 5'11", but weighs in at 200 pounds. He's only a junior. Pass incomplete. And Sharon will be forced to punt once again. Chad Asnes back to punt. One of the bigger punters you'll see in the area. Asnes is 6 feet tall, 215 pounds. He wears number 78.
I want to see the guy that gets a roughing the kicker penalty on this guy.
Asnes gets away a nice kick. Ooh. Chang will let it go at the 30-yard line. It will roll down to the 26-yard line. And let's see how far that kick was. 28, 38, 48 yards, a 54-yard punt. I have.
Most of it in the air, too. I mean, that was a punt. He turned that ball over, too. He got it high. He got all of that. That's one of those things where you're watching Monday Night Football and they got the hang time clock out there.
The other interesting thing, if you ever really watch a punter on a successful punt, the point of the ball is, going straight up in the air. The ball isn't flat. The ball continues to rise, and that's because of some great leg extension by the punter, and that was an excellent job right there.
So with 1:18 left here in the first half, let's see what the Shamrocks do. They'll line up in the I with Scott Schilling, the fullback. Tony Chang is the tail. Morin, the flanker, to the near side left. Yoroff split to the right. Cody will keep it himself, looking to pass, throws downfield, finds Schilling there. Schilling will pick up the first down, will fight his way up to the 46-yard line. But to tell you the truth, gentlemen, with only 1:07 left, his job should have been to get out of bounds.
Yeah, the reason he cut back to the inside is because Brent Poirier had 2 Sharon Eagles tied up on the side. He couldn't hold them long enough. He ended up going down on the ground, Poirier, but he actually was holding off 2 of the Eagles. Because of that block, that made him cut back to the inside.
Well, Bishop Feehan has called their second timeout here. They'll have 3 remaining. As you said, if they didn't have as many timeouts, you would have liked to have seen them go out of bounds. However, the receiver for Bishop Feehan thought there was enough room inside to get some more yardage. This could be very exciting here if Feehan could put a score on before the end of the half. We were watching Dana Fiedarone practicing on the side in case he's called in. Even to be ahead 3-0 would be very big at this point in the game for Feehan.
Let's not forget the Sharon Eagles coming into this game with a 2-1 record. Feehan looking for its first win of the season. They are at 0-3.
And this is the type of day where there is almost no wind, so wind would not become a factor if Matt Lanigan had opted to go for the field goal. I don't know if Matt's a big believer in the field goals. His father certainly is, and he had a nice one last night for Bishop Stang.
Yoroff split to the right. Morin is the flanker to the near side left, showing the fullback. Chang, the tail. Cody will set up a screen to Chang. Chang will make the catch at his own 37, try to get to the outside. Face mask penalty. That one will be a 15-yarder. And actually, fortunately for the Shamrocks, if Chang is okay, he is, because it was a loss of 1 on the play. They will get the first down, 15 yards, plus the penalty will act as a way to stop the clock. It's as good as a timeout.
And he didn't even get out of bounds on that. He was doing everything. He was forgetting about the 1-yard loss. Let me just get out of bounds and stop that clock.
Had Cody not had to scramble all the way to the other side of the field, and they were able to execute that play a little earlier, that could have gone all the way. By taking so long for that play to develop, the defense for Sharon was able to read that the screen had slid over to the near side of the field, and Sharon was able to react to it.
First down and 10. Feehan now at the Sharon 40-yard line. They are about 1 first down away from Fiedarone's field goal range. Cody back to pass, tried to throw a quick slant to Mike Yoroff, and Cody had checked off at the line of scrimmage. But Feehan took 20 seconds off the clock. I think the Shamrocks thought, as I did, that the penalty would stop the clock. Years ago, it would have.
They still have 3 timeouts remaining.
Not a bad time for maybe a Tony Chang draw.
Sharon 40.
You're off, split to the right. Morin is the flanker to the near side left. Schilling the left half back, Chang the right half. Cody calling the signals. 3-step drop. Will throw to Morin, who picks up a nice block. Morin will get inside the 30, down to the 20. Morin down to the 12-yard line, but there is a penalty marker down, and I believe it'll be a clip against the Shamrocks.
Yep. You've got it. It's going to go against the Shamrocks. You can tell by the way Sharon's reacting. And
illegal push to the back by Brett Poirier, who threw the block that set Morin free.
And that's too bad for Morin, because Morin had a good run down there. He just ran right by Lee Mish. Lee Mish thought he had him, and Morin sidestepped him and actually kind of buried him. Mish was a little bit slow getting up, but because of that, Morin ends up picking him an extra 10 yards. But now Feehan shoots themselves in the proverbial foot. Still, the most exciting thing I'd like to see is the high school field goal. It's so rare, and I'd like to see an opportunity for them to get in Fiedarone's range.
Well, unfortunately, the 10-yard spot foul will move the ball back to the 49-yard line, which I realize there's still 22 seconds left. It's only second down, but I don't think we'll see Matt Lanigan try a 66-yard field goal.
You would doubt it. He's got 3 plays in order to move the ball a good 20 yards to get into Fiedarone's range. And because they will, if they use 3 plays here, they'll have an opportunity to bring Fiedarone on the field. Feehan still with 2 timeouts here, depending on if they can use the sidelines to stop the clock as well. Look for sideline patterns. Look for Cody to be rolling out as well, so he has the option of running the ball as well as passing, plus the option of himself running out of bounds.
Your off will be split to the near side left. Morin, the flanker, to the far side right. Schilling will be the fullback in the eye. Chang is the tail. Cody checking off at the line of scrimmage. Will run an option, broken play. Cody will throw it long. It will be caught by Urop, and that should have been pass interference against the Eagles. Urop was wearing, I believe it was number 24, Ed Belinkie, like a cheap shirt.
Actually, I don't know. It could have gone either way, because it looked like Urop actually jumped right into his back, kind of like he was boxing out in basketball, and I thought it might have even been able to go the other way with an offensive pass interference call.
Well, if that's the case, it's a good non-call. Third down, Cody still under center. You're off, split to the left, Morin the flanker to the right. Cody under pressure, will be sacked back at the 29-yard line.
Cody is tackled by number 20.
And that'll be the last play of the first half, unless Sharon calls a timeout. And they may want to. But it'll be Feehan calling the timeout. That's a surprise.
Geez, interesting call here. You would think that, well, for either way, Sharon's going to, both teams now are going to have an opportunity to do something with the ball. Feehan's certainly not going to punt the ball away here. You would think that Sharon would have called the timeout earlier to force Feehan either to run the ball and then Sharon call their last timeout, and they could have one shot into the end zone. Phil Miller suggesting that he's just as happy to go into this game at half tied 0-0. But Matt Lanigan pulled the trick out of his bag. He's going to use a timeout and only allow one more play in this half, at least throw up something. Cody has a long, strong arm. Also, the half cannot end on a defensive penalty.
Well, the Shamrocks could have gone into the locker room deadlocked at 0-0. They wanted to throw one more play at the Eagles. Let's see what they come up with. Cody out of the shotgun now. Chang is the lone back. Trips to the right side. Cody will run a screen to Chang to the near side. Chang will break a tackle at the 50, looks upfield at the 45, down to the 40, down to the 32-yard line. Penalty marker down. And I believe this one will go against the Shamrocks.
Looks like it's going to be a clip. Another legal use of the hands.
Another illegal use of the hands, a push to the back by Bishop Feehan. The Shamrocks need to find out in a hurry which is the front and which is the back.
At the end of the first half.
And unless you're seeing the small numbers on the front, stay away. No score. We are at halftime. The Sharon Eagles 0, the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks 0. We'll be back with our halftime report after this. Morosky, Nationwide Insurance halftime report. Peter Gay along with Art Chase and Chris Lyle. Not much offense. Sharon actually had a great deal of offense on its first possession, marching from their own 19-yard line down to first down and goal territory. The Shamrock defense came up big, denied the Eagles any points. Feehan was then able to move the ball momentarily, but from that point on, both of these teams played basically from the 30 to the 30.
That's exactly what's happened, and it's come down to the opening field position that Bishop Feehan got. They weren't able to stop Sharon until it became crucial, and they stopped Sharon on that fourth down play. Obviously, Sharon doesn't feel like they have somebody that can kick the field goal like Bishop Feehan has in Feehan, but those 3 points, either team could be the margin of victory in today's game, because after that opening series, Bishop Feehan's defense has calmed down. They've tightened it up. They've not allowed Sharon to move the ball effectively at all. Sharon has gotten away from their offense where they try to run the football and then little short 10-yard passes to pick up the first down. Bishop Feehan, on the other hand, doesn't look like the team that we saw last week against Attleboro. They aren't moving the ball effectively. Nate Cody isn't doing as well scrambling, and part of the reason is that the ends are coming in much quicker, and he's able to get around them. Last week he was able to get around the ends because they were coming in quicker for Attleboro. This week they're in, and they're right there when he tries to make his turn, and they're in his way, so he can't circle out around the backfield, and he's not able to create as much of his running. Bishop Feehan hasn't been able to establish any type of running game, and the passing game has been relegated to mostly lobs, throw it up in the air, and Tommy Moran use his height advantage, but no just straight passes have been effective for Feehan.
You know, offensively, Feehan just does not have the crispness that they had last week against a very strong Attleboro team. They need to get it together. They've also hurt themselves with penalties, mental mistakes. Chang had that very big pickup on the punt return that would have set them up to take over the ball in about the 30-yard line. However, a delay of game penalty brought them back. There have been blocking behind the back, unfortunate calls that have brought back the ball in some very big plays. So Feehan offensively has shot themselves in the foot. Defensively, other than that first series, and they did have a big stand at the 10-yard line, they played very well today. They played sound games defensively. The defensive tackles watching the dive on the option. The defensive ends have played very well today. Caponegro along with Noah Sheridan, and the cornerbacks have played a very good game covering the receivers with the exception of that first drive.
So the score, 0-0 at halftime. We'll be back with more of the Nationwide Insurance halftime report after this. Entertaining the home crowd here at Hayward Field. No score at halftime between the Sharon Eagles and the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks. This is the Nationwide Insurance, Nimorosky Insurance halftime report. Peter Gay joined now by Dave Crizzoli and Peter Cohen with a look at first half statistics. Peter has the stats of the Sharon Eagles. Peter?
Well, Peter, rushing on the ground, Sharon hasn't done so well. With 13 carries, only able to muster 18 yards. The leader, quarterback Mike Kinney, 5 carries, 11 yards, and tailback Lee Mish, 3 carries, 6 yards. The other running back, Long Tiu, 4 carries, 1 yard. They've done a little bit better passing though. Mike Kenny, 4 completions, 7 attempts, 73 yards. Most of those yards coming on that first long drive. On defense, the man who's very active is the sophomore defensive back, Mike Wall. Not only having 2 personal fouls against him, but making 5 tackles and 1 sack and 1 pass breakup. Also doing his share on defense is defensive tackle Dean Santoli with 3 tackles. As well, John Bluestein, the senior defensive back, 2 tackles. Peter?
Thank you, Peter. Let's go to David Crizzoli now, who has the first half stats of the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks. David?
Thank you, sir. In the first half of back-and-forth tug-of-war football, Bishop Feehan has 48 total yards. 29 of those yards are on the ground as Feehan rushed 9 times. Rushing leader this afternoon for Feehan is quarterback Nate Cody with 22 yards on 4 carries. In the air, Cody is 2 of 6 for 19 yards. Bishop Feehan's defense sure bent, but it did not break. So far this afternoon, defensive end Noah Sheridan is leading the Shamrocks with 5 tackles. Defensive back John Buckley has 4. That's it with the numbers. Back to Peter Gay.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Peter. The score at halftime, as we mentioned, 0-0. The Sharon Eagles and Bishop Feehan Shamrocks fighting to a scoreless tie in the first half. Bishop Feehan will be getting the football when we start the second. This has been the Nationwide Insurance Nimorowski Insurance Halftime Report. We'll be back with third quarter action after this. 8. Along with Art Chase and Christopher Lyle, we are set to go third quarter action.
Third quarter action, Peter, that hasn't been the most exciting game as far as offense goes, but the two defensive has certainly done their jobs as we're looking at a 0-0 tie, and this has been a fast-moving game clockwise because of that.
Look for Feehan during the second half to come back with some fundamental plays, isolation, sweeps, establish the run.
The Eagles will kick off down to Tony Chang at his own 17-yard line. Chang up to the 30, looking for a block, will get it. Chang off to the 40. Chang up to the 50-yard line. One man to beat, down to the 40. He will step out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Well, that can change things around in a hurry. Tremendous return that time by Tony Chang. He looked like he was trying to follow his blocking, which is what all coaches tell you to do. Just come right back up the middle. Don't sprint for those sidelines. He got through that initial block at the line of scrimmage, at the point of contact, and as he got through there, he saw that there was an opening to the right-hand side, and he took it and just simply out-sprinted everybody. Sharon actually was staying in their lanes, but he was already past the men that were the contained men, so Tony Chang puts Bishop Feehan in great field position.
Shamrocks will come out. Morin, the flanker to the near side right. Urop, the split to the far side left. Out of the eye, showing is the fullback. Tony Chang is the tail. Handoff to Chang, dive up the middle. He will get inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line, pickup of 1.
Feehan coming with an isolation play where the guard does not block the linebacker on the right side. He helps the center take on the defensive guard for the Sharon Eagles. The fullback takes on the linebacker. Chang has the option whether to go inside behind the fullback or to the outside.
Morin, once again the flanker to the right. Urop split to the far side left. Showing and Chang out of the eye. Cody calling the signals. Handoff to Chang off left tackle. Will pick up 2 yards this time. That'll leave a 3rd and 7.
It's interesting to watch the outside linebackers for Sharon. The outside linebackers for Sharon are almost blitzing on every down coming in, and one of the reasons they're doing that, I'm sure, is that they looked at the Attleboro tape and saw that Cody was scrambling so freely out there, and that will prevent that. But the outside linebackers are coming on almost every play for Sharon.
Same formation for the Shamrocks. Out of the eye. Cody. Handoff to Chang off right tackle. Big hole. He will get down inside the 25, down to the 21-yard line. Tony Chang.
Well, this is what Bishop Feehan needs, Peter. Hold on to the ball. Keep Sharon's offense off of the field. Get back to the basics. Establish a run. The offensive line not only needs to block, but stay on those blocks as well. Out there, Brian McLaughlin, Ryan Cherry, Matt Ferry, Joe Sirodio, and Sean Ryan.
So it'll be now a 1st down and 10 for the Shamrocks at the Sharon 21. Handoff to Chang. Chang off left guard. Will get down inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. A pickup of 3. It'll be a 2nd down and 7.
And if you can pick up 3 yards every time you're moving forward, Bishop Feehan needs that. The type of offense that I'm sure Matt Lanigan is used to after working with his dad and then actually working with McGonigal over at Coyle and Cassidy last year is the running type of game, and that's up to the offensive lineman to open those big holes for Tony Chang.
The Sharon Eagles don't like the way things are going. Phil Miller has asked for a timeout. We'll take one as well. 7:58 left in the 3rd. No score between the Shamrocks and the Eagles. We'll be back after this. Second down for the Shamrocks.
Tackle by number 23.
Tony Chang on 2nd down and 7 will go off right tackle, dive forward for a couple of yards. Feehan now with a 3rd down and 4 at the Eagle 15-yard line.
Now Feehan has run the same play the last 5 plays. It's an isolation play to the inside linebacker. Feehan wants to establish himself here on the first drive.
Tom Morin, the flanker to the near side right, Mike Yoroff. Split to the far side left. Cody will keep it himself. The bootleg to the left side. Cody will get into the end zone. Touchdown. And the Shamrocks really set that one up. They drove downfield with Chang keeping it up the middle, up the middle. They faked to Chang, who ran a good fake up the middle once again. Cody with the naked bootleg out to the far side left. Goes in 15 yards for the score.
Well, that's one of the things that you can rely on here is the fact that Cody can run the football. And when we mean run it, he's able to break tackles. He has the good moves out there and the good instincts. That time he knew to cut outside the potential tackle and just keep his feet inbounds enough to get the point.
High snap. Dana Fiedarone's kick is good by a mile, though.
In the parking lot.
He hit a car out in the parking lot. 7-0. Bishop Feehan, 7-16 left here in the 3rd quarter. We'll be back with more after this. 7-0 over the Sharon Eagles. A 39-yard drive, 7 plays. Nate Cody, the 16-yard TD run. Tony Chang setting it up with 23 yards on the drive. Dana Fiedarone's kick will come down to Lee Mish at his own 6-yard line. Mish with a return far to the right side will get up to the 10-yard line, and that was it. I don't like that return, gentlemen.
Well, that's one of the things we talk about. You don't run east to west, you run north to south. When Tony Chang did it, he had run north to south first, and he had gotten past some of the blockers, and that's why he was able to cut it back to the outside. But he just simply sprinted around to the right side, and that just allowed everybody to close in, not only right to where he was heading, but even from behind, they were able to angle him off. And he only went where there was one blocker also.
So Sharon will get the ball for the first time here in the second half. They trail now, 7-0. The Eagles will come out, throw right, split left. Split to the left is Dave Greenfield. The flanker to the far side right is Mark Bernard. Split in the backfield, long 2, and Lee Mish. Handoff will come to 2 up the middle, and he will pick up no yards, no gain on the play.
Tackled on the play, number 65, Sean Caponegro. We've been calling his number a good portion of this game, playing a very sound defensive end for the Shamrocks. Shamrocks taking some momentum on their side now, especially with that kickoff return. Number 80 for Bishop Feehan, Nate Massimino, did an excellent job covering, pinning Sharon deep in their own territory.
2nd down and 10. Mike Kinney calling the signals for the Eagles. Kinney throws over the middle, intercepted by the Shamrocks. Number 45 for the Shamrocks, Andy Sandville, was in front of the intended receiver, Justin Kaufman, the tight end. And Feehan, with a 7-point lead, once again has the ball at the Sharon 15-yard line.
And the first series that Sharon ran to open the game, they threw 2 completions for first downs that were very similar. They were right in a crowd, right in the middle of the Shamrock offense, and they were able to pull them off. That time, there was just a good read that time.
1st down and 10 for the Shamrocks, who will line up in the eye. Pitch will come to the tailback, Tony Chang. Chang will get inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line, a pickup of 2 on the play.
It's always interesting, your first drive of the second half, it shows the crowd and it shows everybody watching the game what you did to change your strategy during the half. Bishop Feehan went back to basics, controlled the football offensively. Defensively, they put some pressure on Sharon and caused that turnover.
So it'll be a 2nd down and make it a long 8. Handoff to Tony Chang. Chang will get up very close and actually inside the 10-yard line. I thought for a moment there that Chang had fumbled. My mistake.
Bishop Feehan coming out in the second half is trying to make that line of scrimmage come alive for them and open up some big holes. They're going back right at the heart of the Sharon defense time and time again. That's one of the reasons why they were able to set up that Cody run, as you mentioned, Peter, is the fact that they kept going to Chang. So don't be surprised if you see all of a sudden Cody run the football.
Mike Yuroff will be the split to the near side right. Morin will line up in the slot. Feehan will attempt to run a play that I can't figure out which way it was designed to go, because Nate Cody was tackled immediately after receiving the snap. It almost appeared as though they were going to run a handoff to Morin, who was the slot man coming across the field. Who knows, though?
Definitely a broken play, because the guard pulled on that play, and as soon as the offensive guard pulled, the defensive guard stepped right in.
Dana Feehan on to attempt a 30-yard field goal that is no good. And no fault of Feehan's. The snap was high. Brett Poirier did a nice job getting it down. And for the second time, Feehan attempting to kick. A high snap hurts his chances. The snap was high on the PAT. Poirier doing a nice job getting it down. Feehan booting it through. On the 30-yard field goal attempt, the snap was high once again. Poirier getting it down, but too late. And Feehan misses just to the left. First down and 10 for the Sharon Eagles at their own 20-yard line. 4:43 left here in the third quarter. They trail 7-0. Handoff will come to the left halfback. That is long two. Two will get up across the 25 to the 26 off right tackle. Make it a pickup of 7 on the play. Second down and 3.
And Nate Cody came up to make that tackle. A good sign for the Bishop Feehan defense is the fact that we haven't been able to call Nate Cody's number very often on the tackles. He hasn't had to make the tackles. That was a rare instance where Sharon did get past the line of scrimmage on a run, and Cody has to come up and make the hit.
The Eagles will line up. Double tight end with the flanker to the far side being Mark Bernard. Lee Mish and long two split in the backfield. The Shamrocks will come across the line of scrimmage. Number 28, Tom DeVischer, just leveled the right tackle, Mike Schubert. And the question is, was he drawn offsides?
Well, the coaches will always tell you, son, if you're going to go offsides, make it count. And certainly DeFischer did on that play, just driving the right guard back onto his haunches. Though this will give Sharon a first down here because it was only a 2nd and 2. Not actually a bad penalty against Bishop Feehan. They need to show some aggressiveness out there because they were not showing any whatsoever during this first half. A little bit of momentum now on their side, ahead 7-0.
So it'll be a first down and 10 after the penalty. Sharon lines up in the same formation. Split backfield, double tight end. Handoff will come to long two up the middle. Two will get across the 40, down to the 41-yard line. Second down and 3 coming up, pickup of 7.
Sharon doing it at the line of scrimmage. This is what they did in their opening series. They were able to move the ball downfield and sustain a drive, but now they're doing it with the run and moving Bishop Feehan back off the line.
Second down and 3, double tight end formation once again from the Eagles. Handoff will come to 2. 2 trying to get to the right corner, will not be able to. It'll be a pickup of about a half yard.
Cody on the tackle there for the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks. Nothing complicated that Sharon is doing here. They're running some traps, some crossbucks in the backfield, a little bit of misdirection with long two. Bishop Feehan's defensive line has to hold the offensive line off of them so the linebackers can make the tackles. Nate Massimino and also Noah Sheridan.
Third down and 1. Mark Bernard, the flanker, to the near side left, double tight end offense. Handoff will come to Lee Mish. Mish will be stacked up, but will get very close to the first down marker. Mish was lined up in the backfield with Jamie Slavitt, who was used as a blocking back for Mish.
Very generous spot, it looks like.
And judging from our angle, I would say that Mish has it. Chris is shaking his head no.
I say he does have it.
I say no.
I didn't think he had it, but as Art mentioned, it was a generous spot.
Well, the question here is, if it is a 4th down situation, do you go for it being it's such a short distance, or do you take the opportunity to pin Bishop Feehan deep in their own end zone?
Well, it'll be academic because Sharon has the first down by half the length of the football.
No, I think it was a very generous spot.
Well, we're unanimous in that assessment. 2 minutes, 19 seconds left here in the third quarter. The clock is running. Bishop Feehan leading 7-0 on a Nate Cody 16-yard TD run and a Dana Fiodarone PAT. Double tight end once again with Bernard, the flanker, to the near side left. Slavitt and Mish split in the backfield. Kinney changed the play at the line of scrimmage. We'll run an option to the far side right, and we'll get back to the line of scrimmage. That'll be it. Nice job by the Shamrocks. Once again, not letting Kinney get to the corner.
Sandville that time came over and made the tackle from the linebacker position, but it was actually the safeties that came in there for Bishop Feehan and made the initial hits to string it out. That's Brett Poirier and Chris Peluso doing a good job. Brett Poirier and Chris Peluso and Nate Cody doing a good job of getting in there and stringing it to the outside.
So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 now for the Eagles, who will call timeout with 1:50 left here in the third quarter. We'll take timeout as well. It's Feehan 7, Sharon nothing. 2nd down and 10 for the Eagles, who will send the flanker. Bernard in motion to the near side right. Kinney back to pass. His pass will be complete inside Feehan territory to Lee Mish down to the 47-yard line, and that will leave the Eagles with a 3rd down and 1.
That was a situation, Peter, where they have the men go deep to clean out the cornerbacks, and actually some of the linebackers went, never mind the free safeties, and then he just kind of drags in there. They throw the pass when he just gets out in the flats and there's nobody really covering him. And you can throw a pass like that where there's nobody to either side. You see which side the cornerback is and you throw it either to the right or to the left. And that's exactly what he did there.
3rd down and 1. Mish and 2 now in the backfield. Double tight end offense. Bernard, the flanker, to the far side right. Penalty marker down. And Phil Miller on the far sideline throws down his clipboard and everything else. That'll drive a head coach nuts. You're trailing 7-0. You're starting to move the football. Key 3rd down call, and one of the interior linemen moves.
Big difference between a 3rd and 2 situation and a 3rd and 7. It's going to affect the play calling as well. Sharon has had success on 3rd downs going to the air on that last series there, picking up 8 yards on the forward pass. Look for them to throw the ball once again. Shamrocks need to put pressure on Kinney.
3rd down and long 6, short 7. Handoff will come to Lee Mish. Lee Mish will get inside the 50 off right tackle down to the 49-yard line, but that is it. And that will leave Phil Miller with a decision to make with a 4th down and 3.
Well, I think that they've been moving the football on the run. They haven't been picking up enough that they can depend on it, but on the pass they've been able to go to, and they haven't gone to the well once too often that the pass is still effective. I say they go for it and you look for a pass on this situation.
They will line up in punt formation. Chad Asness back to punt. Tony Chang and Sean Waters. Fake punt. It'll be a fumbled fake. And let's see. Sharon came away with the football, but they won't get the 1st down. Sharon lined up 3 men as the wall in front of the punter. The snap came to number 21, Matt Wall. Wall never really had the football. It bounced up in the air. He was fighting for it with Feehan's Brett Poirier. Wall was able to pull it away, but in doing so fell to the ground at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a half-yard gain at best.
Well, it was a good call and a good opportunity to go for the fake there on the 4th down, but there was a lot more room to the outside than call for a handoff on the inside.
So Feehan now with excellent field position at their own 48-yard line. 16 seconds left here in the third quarter. Tommy Morin, who was split to the far side, or actually the near side right, will catch a pass from Cody and then try to pick up a block from Poirier. But in making the catch, Morin had to go down on one knee. That'll do it for the third quarter. Feehan has some points on the board. A Cody 16-yard TD run and a Feehan PAT. The Shamrocks lead Sharon 7-0. We'll be back with fourth quarter action after this. Bissio and DuPont post-game show on the McDonald's player of the game. Fourth quarter action set to begin. The Bishop Feehan Shamrocks with the ball, second down, and make it 10 at their own 48-yard line. Tom Morin, the flanker to the near side left. Mike Yoroff split to the far side right. Chang and Schilling in the backfield. Pitch will come to Chang. Chang will follow a block by Schilling inside the 45-yard line down to the 41-yard line. Very close to a first down. We may see a measurement.
And there was a nice lead block by number 22, the fullback Schilling out there in front of Chang. Chang coming up now, limping somewhat, trying to stretch his leg muscles. Looks as though he somewhat pulled something. This official timeout for measurement is going to give him an opportunity to stretch that out, as we can see him doing on the field now. But Bishop Feehan very content to keeping this ball on the ground. They want to take time off of the clock. If they can get up by 2 scores, Sharon may not have enough time left on this clock to put 2 scores on themselves.
Feehan will pick up the first down by about 3/4 the length of the football.
Feehan has a first and 10 on the Eagle 21-yard line.
Fourth quarter. Bishop Feehan with a first down at the Sharon 41-yard line. Pitch will come to Scott Schilling. Schilling around the right corner will get down inside the 35, down to the 32-yard line. Schilling following the previous play in which he led Tony Chang with a nice block around the left corner. This time takes it himself to the right corner. He picked up a nice block by Tommy Morin. So the Shamrocks now with a second down and 1 at the Eagle 33. Good down to maybe pass here. Schilling will take a pitch from Chang, and this play will go nowhere. And the reason for it, Chang and Schilling ran into each other. They were lucky there was no fumble there.
Mike Schubert right there for the Sharon Eagles that time. The linebackers were up almost at the line of scrimmage for Sharon at the snap of the ball, and then they went. They are, in fact, realizing that Bishop Feehan is going to run the football, and they are coming in, and it's almost the 2 inside linebackers are acting like 2 more linemen. It's almost like they have 6 men on the line of scrimmage on that last play.
So it'll be a loss of 7 on the play. Third down and 8 for the Shamrocks. Cody rolling to his right, looking to pass, escapes 1 tackler, looks up, and there will be 4 white shirts there. And one of the Shamrocks, I believe, held on the play. A penalty marker called. That will be the call. If you're going to hold, make sure that player doesn't get to the quarterback.
Well, he probably did, but there were 3 other jerseys. The offensive line can only hold so many people at one time. This is going to put Feehan now into a position where they'll punt the ball away on their 4th down. Anytime that we've seen Feehan into punt today, Bishop Feehan has not executed their punts very well at all today. The snaps have been very lackadaisical. This could be an opportunity for Sharon with 10 men on the line of scrimmage to really go for it, because Feehan just has not had the crispness needed to execute a good punt.
Well, the Eagles will drop 3 men back now. They have 7 men at the line of scrimmage. They will rush 8. Feehan, an end-over-end kick that will land at the 24, taken by Dave Greenfield on a bounce at his own 14. Greenfield will break 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles, will be driven out of bounds, and in on the stop, Dana Feehan at the 29-yard line. Feehan, you may think as a specialist, just kicks, just punts. He was looking to hit somebody, and he did.
Well, it can get frustrating, especially if you've got the enthusiasm of a high school player. You want to get involved in some of these plays. You see everybody else out there hitting, and you've got to kick the football. Fiehan makes the most. I'll tell you, if I was coaching at the Sharon team, I would take a look at Greenfield and give him a little bit more opportunities, because Dave Greenfield was certainly carrying people with him, and he did not want to go down.
So it'll be a 1st down and 10 for the Sharon Eagles. Double tight end. Bernard as the flanker to the far side left. They are going left to right with 2 and Mish split in the backfield. Handoff will come to Mish, and Mish will lose a half yard on the play. It'll be a 2nd down and make it 10.
He's just stopped at the line of scrimmage. The defensive end, Caponigra, once again in on the play. The linebacker on that side as well, number 45, Andy Sandville, already with 1 interception in today's ball game. Coming up with a very big play there as well. This is a big series for the Eagles. They really have to establish themselves and not take as much time off the clock as they had been during other parts of this ball game.
2nd down and 10. Mish, and it's not. Well, let me get to this in a second. Handoff will come to Mish. He was split in the backfield with Jamie Slavitt. I thought for a second it was 2, but it was Slavitt. Mish, following a block by Savitt, will get across the 30 up to the 32-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 3 on the play, 3rd down and 8.
Bishop Feehan very content to allow Sharon to continue to run time off of the clock here. Now Sharon will be calling their 3rd timeout now in the 2nd half.
We'll take timeout as well. 6:43 left in this one. It's Bishop Feehan 7, Sharon nothing. We'll be back with more after this. Third down for the Sharon Eagles. They will isolate Mish coming out of the backfield in the flats. He will make the catch, but he will go nowhere. No gain on the play. It'll be 4th down for the Sharon Eagles.
When Bishop Feehan gets the opportunity on offense, they can take some time off the clock, continue to run the ball like they did on that last series. They could effectively run out the clock. If they could ever put together a 9-minute drive like Sharon did to open up the game, then Sharon would never even get a chance to touch the ball.
So the Eagles will punt it away. The kick will come down to Tony Chang at his 33. Chang running upfield. And we will have another face mask against the Eagles. Not goal. Wow. It shouldn't have been a 15-yarder, but one of the Eagles did momentarily catch the face mask of Chang, enough to turn his head, but not enough to make the tackle.
Right, wasn't enough to bring Chang down, but it did slow Chang down to give the opportunity for some Eagles now to come in and make the tackle. Bishop Feehan during the 2nd half has had some very good field position, and that's helped them establish their 7-0 lead here.
Shamrocks out of the eye. Scott Schilling is the fullback. Tony Chang is the tailback. Morin, the flanker, to the near side left. Mike Uroff split to the right. Chang will be met 1 yard back, trying to come off left tackle. He was able to drive the defender back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Should have been a loss of 1.
Well, it's a situation that he hit him very hard, and now he's coming off the field, Tony Chang. So I guess they're going to put in Sean Waters for Chang. Chang coming to sit down on the bench.
Not the most opportune time for the Shamrocks. They are looking to control the clock, move the football on the ground, and Tony Chang has been the workhorse. Scott Schilling at fullback, Waters at the tail. Cody looking to pass, complete to Tom Morin, who did a down and out from his flanker position. What the Shamrocks did was send the tight end on that side, Brett Poirier, long. And Morin did the down and out for 7 yards.
Good
It'll
catch.
be a 3rd down and 3.
Good catch by Morin, too, because he's 6'4". For him to go down and make that catch is very tough. And Tommy Morin's had a good game all around. He's had some key blocks out there, and many occasions he's come up with that good completion.
3rd down and 3. Scott Schilling will take a pitch. Schilling trying to get to the right corner. Will Schilling will get inside the 35-yard line down to the 31-yard line. And it was Sean Waters from his tailback position getting there, throwing the block that set Schilling free.
It certainly was. Waters showing how unselfish of a ball player that he can be in the backfield, blocking on the cornerback. The cornerback came up to push the play back to the inside. Waters met him head on, gave Schilling the opportunity to cut back inside and pick up another 10 yards.
First down and 10 now for the Shamrocks. 4:15 left. Clock is running. Pitch will come to Waters. Waters between left tackle and left end, driving forward down inside the 26-yard line. A pickup of 4 on the play, 2nd and 6 for the Shamrocks, less than 4 minutes remaining.
A lot of times you see that in the end of a ball game. Sean Waters, a very capable running back, and he's coming in with fresh legs, playing against a lot of players that have played both sides, offense and defense, and he's still got a little bit more energy than a lot of players out there, and he showed it on that last play, driving 3 players back.
Feehan will now take a timeout with 3:40 left. They lead 7-0 over the Sharon Eagles. We'll be back with more after this. The CO and DuPont post-game show. Feehan with a 2nd down and 6. 3:40 left here in the 4th quarter. Cody will run a triple option to the left. Will not be able to get to the corner. Will get up to the 25-yard line. A pickup of 1 on the play. And the Sharon Eagles will take timeout.
Peter, that's their 4th timeout now that they've used so far. They'll have 1 remaining. That was a smart play by Cody. He faked the dive to the inside Schilling. Cody then, as he was coming down to read the end, didn't necessarily read that the end was going to take him down, but he did read that the tailback on that play, Waters, was definitely covered by the cornerback. So Cody took the best of the 2 options, which was not go for the fumble, but take the ball inside, knowing that you're not going to get a big gainer, but at least you're going to hold on to the ball.
Good point, Chris. Using all the timeouts offensively will hurt the Sharon Eagles here. They only trail by 7 points. They have Feehan in a 3rd down and actually a long 4, short 5 situation.
I like the way the Eagles defense, well, obviously the defensive coordinator has read what Sean Cody does, because they're aware that he cuts that ball back inside after he makes that initial end-around move when he keeps the ball, and they're there every time.
Tony Chang checks back into the Feehan backfield. He lines up as the right halfback. He'll take a pitch, follow a block by Schilling. Will get very close to the 1st down. Will pick up the 1st down, and it was the block of Schilling enabling Chang to get to the corner.
And that was great second effort, individual effort by Chang also. He was down almost close to it. A second effort brought him beyond that 1st down line. If Feehan can pick up 1 more 1st down here, that'll be the end of the ball game. And Feehan and Matt Lanigan will pick up their 1st victory.
So the Shamrocks at the 20-yard line of Sharon now. 3:05 left. The clock is running.
Oops.
And one of the Shamrocks, number 75, Matt Ferry, coming up a count early. And this time Ferry will not throw his hands up in the air and say, "Who, me?" Which actually isn't a bad thing to do, because I believe here they will start the clock up again. Let's see.
Well, they will. Clock operator's right next to me, and the official said yes. As soon as you said that, he said yes, they will start the clock.
Which the Shamrocks, if they wanted to, if they were facing the clock, Cody wouldn't need to run the play until there was only almost 2:30 left. 1st down and 15 from the 25. Pro left, split right with a man in the far slot. Handoff to Tony Chang, simple dive up the middle. Chang hanging on to the football for his dear life will pick up 4 yards. It'll be a 2nd down and 11. And Sharon with not too many timeouts left, 1 to be exact.
Bishop Feehan has to be more concerned with just holding on to the ball here. Sharon, with only 1 timeout, is going to be trying to tackle the ball. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bishop Feehan just call Cody's number and run quarterback sneaks up the middle of the field, because you've got nobody across from the center.
So it'll be a second down. Pro right, split left now. Hand off to Tony Chang. Chang will get inside the 20 down to the 19-yard line, and Sharon will burn what should be its last time out with 2 minutes remaining.
Sharon not saving their timeouts, as you mentioned. And that will give, if they are able to stop Bishop Feehan, an opportunity with the football and a little bit more time remaining. And also, when you have the ball on offense, you are more able to stop the clock with an incomplete pass, out of bounds play, even when you pick up the first down while the chains move. So smart move there on the coaching staff. But the key here is to stop Bishop Feehan.
So the Shamrocks will have a 3rd down and 9. Ball is at the 19-yard line. Sharon, with no timeouts remaining, needs to stop the Shamrocks here. Feehan would most likely either go for it on 4th down or send out Feehan to attempt a field goal. The Shamrocks will break huddle with Mike Uroff split to the far side right. Tom Morin will line up as the flanker to the near side left. Out of the eye, Schilling is the fullback. Chang is the tail. Cody on a naked bootleg to the far side right will get down to the 15-yard line where he will be stopped. It appeared for a moment that Cody would go for the first down and a little bit more.
Cody's had some success cutting it back to the inside, particularly against Attleboro last week, and that's what his instincts told him, to cut it back to the inside. That's where the Sharon Eagles were, and as he tried to plant his feet to cut, the Sharon Eagles were able to cut as well as he was.
So Dana Feehan on to attempt a 31-yard field goal that would cement this victory for the Shamrocks. The snap is a good one. Poirier gets it down. The kick is up. The kick is good. Dana Feehan puts the Shamrocks up 10-0. And the happiest man here at Hayward Field is the head coach of the Shamrocks, Matt Lanigan, who is now just 1 minute, 18 seconds away from his first coaching victory.
Time to get the Gatorade.
The Shamrocks lead 10-0.
And I'll tell you, what a kick that was, too. 31-yard field goal, Peter. That would have been good from 51 yards out. All the height, all the distance in the world. From our angle, it looked like it was right down the middle. Beautiful turnover on that kick, and Feehan gets Bishop Feehan 3 points and seals the victory for them. What a fitting way. That's just great to see Feehan.
So Feehan will get a chance now to kick off. 10-0. Bishop Feehan with the lead, 78 seconds away from victory number 1. And we finally, gentlemen, in our 3rd look at the Shamrocks in 4 weeks, get a chance to see Feehan kick a field goal. The Shamrocks kicking off, going right to left. Sharon really needs a return all the way for a touchdown here, an onside kick, and then hope for the best. Feehan with a squib kick that will come down inside the 20, will be covered by the Eagles. Feehan with an elusive kick that's finally covered by the Eagles' number 33, Joey Todd, at the 19-yard line. So forget the return.
Now look for Feehan now to get into a very big prevent defense. Sharon needs to score, which would mean putting the ball up in the air. They can't run the ball because they have no timeouts remaining. You might want to look for halfback option pass, some sort of a hook and ladder. Feehan will spread their defense out throughout the field and always keep the Sharon Eagles at least 1 step in front of them.
So the Eagles will come out with Dave Greenfield split to the left. Bernard, the flanker to the right. Ball batted up in the air. Brett Poirier managed to get a hand on Mike Kinney as he released the football. And Kinney will get up very slowly. The ball went flying into the air. It was almost as if it was a jump ball in basketball. It finally landed on the ground after batting or being batted by both teams.
That's twice that's happened in the game where the ball's been batted up in the air. Feehan hasn't been able to grab it, but that's why those coaches work on those tip drills. They know that those defensive backs, that happens so many times, and they pay off.
The Shamrocks getting ready to dunk Matt Lanigan with the Gatorade bucket. Still have 1:10 to go, though. Kinney will set up a screen over to the far side. It's complete to long two. Two will get up across the 25 to the 26-yard line. And for those of you watching on ICTV 8 and Cable 27 on Tuesday and Thursday night, hopefully our on-field cameraman can get a shot of the Shamrocks' attempt to dump their new head coach.
Third down and 3 for Sharon from the Sharon 21-yard line.
So Sharon now with a 3rd down and 4. Clock is running.
And Sharon's inability to huddle on the line of scrimmage has cost them at least 25 seconds here.
Long count with 25 seconds left. Back to passes, Kinney. Kinney under some pressure, needs to get rid of it. Will take the sack, and that'll do it. That should be the last play of the game. And watch out, Matt Lanigan, you're about to get soaked.
Mike Kinney is tackled by number 34. Noah Curry.
And that'll do it. Matt Lanigan will be dunked by the Shamrocks, who will dunk the Sharon Eagles 10-0. And Matt Lanigan is the most enthusiastic of all the Shamrocks this afternoon. His first head coaching victory, 10-0 over the Sharon Eagles. We'll be back with our post-game show in a minute.
Final score of Bishop Feehan.
Game show. The Bishop Feehan Shamrocks are huddled around their head coach, Matt Lanigan, who is a very happy Shamrock at this moment. The Shamrocks coming away with their first victory of the season, Lanigan's first as a head coach, 10-0. And gentlemen, I'm glad I was here to see it.
Yeah, really. It was Matt Lanigan, who's worked very hard this season. And as you mentioned, Peter, celebrating and the happiest man out there, all the enthusiasm in the world, Matt Lanigan, and gaining the players' respect throughout this year. He's holding up the game ball right now, and that's a happy Bishop Feehan team. And one thing that they didn't roll over is a doormat Sharon Eagle team. This was a tough team, and you got to give Matt Lanigan credit. They did an excellent job, and Bishop Feehan now has their first victory. Let's continue from here.
Now, this should be the first of what we're going to find as many Matt Lanigan victories here at Bishop Feehan High School. Feehan not playing their best game of the season. This has actually been probably their worst game of the season, but it was their first win. They played to their competition today. They did come out 10-0. This not their finest effort, however.
Running down the scoring for the Shamrocks after a scoreless first half. 7:16 remaining in the third quarter. Nate Cody with a 16-yard bootleg touchdown run. Dana Fiedarone came on, made the extra point. It was 7-0 Shamrocks scoring on their first drive of the second half. Tony Chang had a 52-yard return on the kickoff to set up the 39-yard drive, which took 2 minutes, 44 seconds, and 7 plays. Chang with 5 carries during that drive for 23 yards. The next score would come almost at the end of the game. 1:18 remaining in the fourth quarter. Dana Fiedarone cementing the win with a 31-yard field goal. Bishop Feehan with a 10-0 victory over the Sharon Eagles. We'll be back with more of our post-game show in a minute. Game show, Peter Gay along with Art Chase and Chris Lyle. The Shamrocks come away with the victory. To tell you the truth, though, Chris, and you had alluded to this earlier, I thought the Shamrocks played better in their loss to Attleboro than they did in this win against Sharon.
All their losses, actually, we were able to see their first game against North Attleboro. They scored 22 points. They were able to move the ball up and down the field. Same with against Attleboro. They were able to move the ball in between the 20-yard lines, though they weren't able to score. Today, I feel as though they played to their competition. This is a game that they should have won, and they did win. One thing you have to be proud of, though, that defense played one whale of a ball game for the Shamrocks. The defensive line was anchored by Noah Sheridan. Also in there as well was Andy Sanville, Joe Serodio, Sean Caponegro. We were calling his number all day long as well. They did an excellent job in stymieing the offensive line for the Sharon Eagles. Offensively, Feehan really wasn't able to get it together at all in the first half. Second half, they went back to the basics, ran isolation plays, pretty much stuffed the ball down the throats of the Eagles, and the Eagles landed today, and the Shamrocks ran right over them.
I think one of the differences between when you say that they played to their level of competition, when they played against North Attleboro, a game that we saw, and then they played against Attleboro, a lot of it happened because of Cody. Cody was able to scramble out there and get around, but you got to give Sharon credit. Their outside linebackers were not allowing them to do it, so they had two ends coming in for Sharon, and the outside linebackers were responsible for every time Cody does that curl around, and I think that had a lot to do because that was basically what their offense was last week, was Cody scrambling. So I think you got to give Sharon credit there, but Bishop Feehan comes away with a victory, a good solid victory, showed that they could move the football up and down the field, but more importantly, the defense comes up with a shutout, and that's really important because this Sharon team, no matter what anybody says, sure, Bishop Feehan should have won if you look at last year's team, but this is a tough Sharon team, so Bishop Feehan getting better as the weeks go on, and hopefully he'll come away with a few more victories.
The final 10-0. The Shamrocks beat the Sharon Eagles. This is the Bissio and DuPont post-game show. We'll be back with our McDonald's player of the game after this. Nothing, the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks defeating the Sharon Eagles. Victory number 1 for Bishop Feehan. Also, victory number 1 for our player of the game, the key player for the Shamrocks today, head coach Matt Lanigan. Anytime a head coach wins his first game as a varsity head coach, he deserves player of the game honors. He receives them today. The McDonald's player of the game, Matt Lanigan. Congratulations. Our next game on ICTV 8 and Cable 27 is 1 week from tonight. On Tuesday, it's the Attleboro Blue Bombardiers playing host to the Mansfield Hornets. On Thursday, the Dighton Rehoboth Falcons playing host to the Apponequet Lakers. That'll do it. From Hayward Field, our producer and director tonight has been Tom Krause. For Dave Crizzoli, Peter Cohen, Art Chase,